incitement to kill is regular speech in the Arab world. And that's why I said, oh, maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Maybe if we go for it and make it illegal to insult any religion, maybe the hate speech against Jews and Christians will end on Arab TV. It's very, very offensive. I watch it right here in America because I subscribe to all the Al Jazeera, and I just want to give you an example of a few of the latest speech that I've been watching. It's very frustrating. It's almost you watch this and say, how can I hear this in America? The Jew is a treacherous, disloyal, deceitful, and belligerent by nature. Nothing works with him but force. This is a Saudi cleric, Khalid al-Khlewi, and that aired on Al Jazeera on January 11th of 2009. Egyptian cleric Mahmoud Ya'qub. These are top clerics, by the way. These are not little town clerics. He said, the Jews are the enemies of Muslims, regardless of the occupation of Palestine. You must believe that we will fight, defeat, and annihilate them until not a single Jew remains on the face of the earth. Not in Israel, on the face of the earth. These are top religious leaders on Arab TV. He continued saying, if the Jews left Palestine to us, we will still, do you think we're going to still love them? No, of course not. We will never love them, absolutely. Not because I say it, but because Allah says so. They're enemies of Allah, okay? Another Saudi cleric. And all these are from countries who are demanding respecting Islam in the West. And this is the hypocrisy. We must believe that our fighting with the Jews is eternal and it will not end until the final battle. And this is the fourth point he was giving. As for you Jews, the curse of Allah upon you. You pigs and pigs of the earth, you kill the Muslims with that cold pig blood of yours. O Jews, may the curse of Allah be upon you. O Jews, O Allah, bring your wrath, punishment, and torment down upon them. I'm sorry, I'm repeating this because this is every day. It's every day. Arab kids are hearing this every day, and they're inciting to kill. You kill the Muslims, and we kill you. Hitler put the Jews in their place. That's what they deserve. And then he's the same preacher. And by the way, Sheikh Qaradawi is the top Sunni sheikh in the Muslim world, and he said that Hitler put the Jews in their place, and then he continued by saying, "This was divine punishment for them. Allah willing, the next time it will be at the hands of the believers, Muslims." He was actually saying, "I want to do it with my own hands." He was telling Arab kids to go ahead and kill Jews. "I will shoot Allah's enemies, the Jews, and they will throw a bomb at me, and thus I will seal my life with martyrdom. I want to die," he was saying, "I want to die as a martyr, killing Jews. Praise be Allah, Lord of the worlds, Allah's mercy and blessings upon you." This is the kind of blasphemy of Muslims against the whole world. You should hear what they say about America. America is poisoning food and get the poor Afghanis to kill them. Israel, they're saying, Israel, the Jews infect food with cancer and ship it to Muslim countries. And this is funny. The front page of an Egyptian paper, I was a journalist in Egypt right before coming to America. And so when I went to visit Egypt in 2001, I got all the papers and I read in the front page, Israeli Viagra all over the Muslim world to sterilize Arab men. I am absolutely calling to wage violent jihad against the Jews. This is what the Arab world is demanding from the world, to respect them. when they have no respect to anybody. And not just respect, but this is incitement to kill. This is incitement to kill based on lies, total lies. And then, most people, including myself, don't want or care to criticize any religion. I don't want to criticize Islam. I don't care to criticize any religion, frankly, because religion is a relationship with God. And it's a personal thing. And that's why, let's look at the definition of religion when it comes to Islam. If religion expands itself so much, so it becomes a one-party totalitarian state, it has a very elaborate legal system called Sharia, and that Sharia can put you to death if you leave Islam. Is that a religion? Is that our definition of a religion? What is a religion? If Islam wants to end blasphemy of religion, how can they do that when they are a state and a legal system that affects the life, directly life of people? So the definition of religion does not apply here. And like I said, I hate to criticize any religion, because religion is supposed to be a relationship with God, not a relationship to kill your neighbor if he leaves Islam. The minute you're ordered to kill your neighbor because he left Islam, that is not religion. So there is, in my opinion, Islam has expanded itself so much beyond the idea of religion, beyond the concept of religion, and has become a state, and a totalitarian state, and a legal system, a very elaborate legal system that does not, that goes into every detail of your life, even in your bedroom. Sharia dictates how you go to the bathroom. And in one of the sects of Sharia, it actually orders what is it called? The gender relation of girls. So is this religion? We have to, the United Nations, before they start deciding, don't do any blasphemy on religion, they have to define religion. So it's no longer a private matter. Religion, when it comes to Islam, or it's just a religion, it's a dictatorship. If religion becomes the state and the state becomes religion, then it has opened itself to criticism. So Islam opened itself to criticism, because it makes perfect sense then that such a religion has put itself in the realm of criticism, because it is no longer a relationship with God. I lived for 30 years in oppressive dictatorships and police states under Sharia law. And women and minorities have no equal rights under the law. So again, Islam provides a very elaborate legal system called Sharia that actually discriminates in its laws between citizens. So not everybody has the same right. If you're a Muslim, you're different from a non-Muslim. A non-Muslim has another status in society and rights, total different rights. Women in court have less status than men. I was a journalist in Egypt, and I never voted. For 30 years I lived in the Middle East. I didn't know what voting means. And I witnessed honor killing of girls. I knew somebody personally who was killed because she was raped. Why was she killed? I'll tell you why. Because under the laws of Islam, if you're raped, you have to have 4 male witnesses to prove that you were raped. Otherwise, you committed sexual crime, for which you must be killed. And polygamy, allowed under Sharia law, has a very, very horrific impact on the dynamics of the family, women to women relationship, men to women relationship. The segregation of the sexes is horrendous. Even in Egypt, which is more liberal, still very, 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 very severe laws, and the punishments are horrific. Horrific. For minor things, like in Saudi Arabia, there was a man and a woman who were having coffee at Starbucks, co-workers, and they were sentenced to be flogged. It is, and you say, don't criticize it by the United Nations? Yes, not all Muslim countries, by the way, apply Sharia equally. So I mean, the police in Egypt will not arrest me if I am having a cup of coffee at Starbucks with a coworker. But what Muslim governments don't apply is actually enforced on the Arab street through vigilante street justice and honor killing. Some may say, but that is culture and not through Islam. That's not true. They always say that. It's culture. Honor killing, it's not really Islam. That is not true, because under Sharia Islamic law, vigilante street justice is allowed because there are three murders, where a Muslim will not be punished for. So if you kill somebody on the street for three kinds of crimes, you're forgiven. Number one, killing an apostate, which is me. If I go to the Middle East now and I get killed because I'm no longer a Muslim, anybody on the street can kill me and they will not go to jail. Okay, under Sharia. Killing an adulterer. So a woman who has an affair, the family can stone her to death in the public square. Maybe in some countries they will say, oh, no, go back home. And a highway robber, another law. If a Muslim kills another Muslim, he will get the death penalty. But if a Muslim kills a non-Muslim, he will not get the death penalty. And in some cases, they will not even go to jail. So non-Muslims, Christians who live in the Middle East under Sharia law must walk a fine line, or else, because they can be killed and they can say, he insulted Islam in front of me, and it's a lie, but and I had to kill him because that's blasphemy. Or that happens. There are cops in Egypt right now who are being killed for silly things, and they get away with it. And the United Nations, they don't want us to complain about it. We can't complain because we're we're supposed to be respecting religion. When Sadat was killed for refusing to do jihad, which is the duty of every Muslim head of state. By the way, the term jihad under Islamic law, in Islamic scriptures, it is defined as follows: to war with non-Muslims to establish the religion. In Al-Azhar University, Sharia law, jihad is, this is the definition from the books of Al-Azhar. It's a permanent war institution against Jews, Christians, and pagans. That is the definition of jihad. So this idea on TV in America here, oh, it's an inner struggle, self-analysis, this is all not true. 97% when the word jihad is mentioned in the Quran, it refers to one thing: war and violence. 3% it doesn't. So they are true 3% of the time. So, because jihad, which is a violent war, is the duty of every Muslim head of state, in the Sharia books of Islam, it tells you the duties of a Muslim head of state. The Khalifa, they call him. And you read 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, the number 2 or number 1. Number 1 is preserving Islam in its original form. Never allow change. Okay? So if you want to enforce democracy, it's against the law. And number 2 is that a Muslim head of state must do jihad. Muslim religious leaders condemned Sadat to death as an apostate, and that gave the man on the street permission to kill President Sadat. when an Egyptian journalist was shot in front of his home. And also they stabbed Naguib Mahfouz, who's one of the top Naguib Mahfouz literary writers in Egypt. He's fantastic. He was stabbed in Cairo. Guess what? The killers in the trials were defended by none other than the Sheikh of Al-Azhar University. And you know what the excuse is? Because we don't have blasphemy and apostasy laws enforced by the government, then the people on the street have the right to enforce it. Which means, whether you like it or not, whether the government allows blasphemy laws in Muslim countries or not, you will get killed. Because they allow the man on the street to protect Sharia law, to be the hand of Sharia law on the street. So in the Muslim world, you're not afraid of the government as much as you're afraid of your neighbor. Because this is the power of Islam. Vigilante street justice is allowed to preserve Islam and Sharia. A Muslim can kill what they perceive as an apostate and get away with it. And that gives a lot of power to Muslim leaders, and that is the power of the fatwa to kill. That is the power of the fatwa. Don't ever underestimate. There's lists and lists of people on fatwas to kill on the internet by Muslim leaders sitting comfortably on TV condemning the Jews and the apostates to be killed under Islamic law. Free speech is forbidden under Islamic law. You cannot speak against Sharia. You cannot speak against in any way. Even if you say Muhammad wore not a very clean shirt, for example. That's blasphemy. It is not even insulting. You can say something very little, like this teacher who called a teddy bear Muhammad. It's like in America calling a teddy bear Michael or John. This is the most regular name in the Middle East. I know, and these are the stories that you hear in the West. There's hundreds of people who get killed for nothing. There's an Egyptian Copt who was working in a store. Just the other day, this is a recent story, because I get all the deaths regularly and he, some customers came had a fight with the owner of the store. And he was wearing a cross, he was a Christian. So what they did is they held his cross, took it out and threw it away and said, you're a Christian, you're a pig, you're a pig, and your pigs are, you know. And then he was very mad, so he kind of insulted Islam back. And they beat him up. Anyway, the owner comes, instead of rewarding him for defending the owner, when he learned that he insulted Islam, he seduced him to, he called him to come to his home, and he actually killed him and told the police he came to rape my wife. And this is forgiven. Honor, his honor. He's defending his honor. And that's what Copts are suffering from. So you cannot criticize a religion that has expanded itself to become a tyrannical system. And Sharia law also has a list of enormities. As much as they insult the West, they insult Jews, they insult everybody. Oh, you should hear what they say about Israel and the Greeks. It's scary, it's scary. One of the list of enormities punishable by death. In the Sharia books, such crimes are as following: showing other the weak points of Muslims. This is an enormity. So if you show the weak point of a Muslim, of the Muslim world, and you're a Christian even, it could be anything, living under Islamic rule. You have committed high crime, cursing a Muslim. And these are laws in the books, in a book called Reliance of the Traveler. And I have the number here, the number of the laws if you want to verify it. Saying to a Muslim, oh unbeliever. How dare you say to a Muslim, oh unbeliever? Do you know how many times, oh unbeliever, is mentioned about Jews and Christians and pagans in the Quran? It's in practically every other verse. So what they allow themselves to call others, they punish by death others for. Or enemy of Allah. The word enemy of Allah is the Jewish people in Islam. But if you tell a Muslim, oh enemy of Allah, you must be killed according to Islamic Sharia law. So the law is, if you blacken a Muslim's name and search out his shameful points as to disgrace and humiliate him, that's another law. It's a law. Law number 335, by the way. Poetry that contains mockery of a Muslim, obscenity or lying, or singing such poetry and spreading it about a Muslim. Do you know how many songs I heard in Egypt, Abakrah Israel, and Abakrah, I hate Israel? They are forbidding what they are doing to others. They are forbidding others from doing what they are doing to others. With the admission of the most prominent Muslim scholars of the 20th century, Sheikh Maududi, the most prominent sheikh in the 20th century, his name is Sheikh Abu al-Ala al-Maududi. He said the following about the Islamic State. It's an elaborate totalitarian political and legal system that must control every aspect of life, both public and private. It seeks to mold every aspect of life and activity. In such a state, no one can regard any field of his affairs as personal or private. And then he concluded by saying that in such a state, it bears a kind of resemblance to the fascist and communist state, unquote. The top Muslim scholar of the 20th century compared the Islamic State to the fascist and communist state. And now they're trying to take Geert Wilders to court because he compared the Islamic State to a fascist and communist state. I gave him, by the way, this quote, telling, here, there's a Muslim who agrees with you. But by the way, when he said it, he didn't mean it as a negative. It was meant as an admiration. They loved Hitler. They loved Hitler. So when he said that, he meant it as something good. Because Geert Wilders looks at it as bad, then he's bad. He can't criticize Islam. It's tyranny.